feeling that discontinuity from the now becoming more prevalent as time goes on. You said this is more normal.
Yes.
How do we get there?
It's more natural.
Natural, okay. Getting there sooner than later, how do we?
By following the formula.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have also talked about the idea of the exercise you can do called the threshold of believability. Are you familiar with that?
No.
All right. Some process may be necessary for you to experience, but you can accelerate the process sometimes greatly by taking the threshold of believability test. If there is a particular idea that represents you being more of who you truly prefer to be, doing something, taking action on your passion, and you find that you may be holding on to belief systems that make it seem as if you can't necessarily do that as quickly as you would prefer, then you can begin to take the threshold of believability test in the following way. You can say, all right, let's start with a time frame that I know is way more time than I need in order to actually live my passion in the way that I prefer, to take action on this and for manifestations to begin to occur that are representative of being in that state. Way more time. So let's just say, for example, just to paint the picture, just to illustrate the point, that 20 years is more than enough time for you to process whatever you need to process to allow yourself to finally be who you prefer to be and experience that life of passion, creativity, and joy. So you ask yourself the question this way: is 20 years more than enough time to create that? Yes, absolutely. There is not a shadow of a doubt in me or a belief within me that says that it cannot happen before 20 years. All right, well then let's lower the time frame. Is 15 years enough time? Yes, absolutely. No problem. I can absolutely be that person living a life of joy within 15 years. How about 10 years? Yes, no problem. How about 5 years? The second, and you can go down in whatever increments you want. You can go down year by year, you can go down month by month, day by day, whatever you want to do. The instant you hesitate to say, yes, no problem, any hesitation at all, that's how long it will take with your present belief system. That's the length of the process. Now, you can say, all right, well, let's see, what belief would I have to buy into for it to take that much time? If you find the belief, see that it is a belief that doesn't belong within you, and let it go, you take the test again. 20 years, absolutely, no problem. 10 years, no problem. 5 years, now with my new belief, absolutely. I see how I can be that person within 5 years, no hesitation, no problem. 3 years, yes, no problem. 2 years, Again, as soon as you hesitate, find out if there's a belief that you have that doesn't work for you, that makes it seem necessary for it to take that much time. Get it down as far as you can till you have no more beliefs holding you back. Whatever amount of time is left at that point is the amount of time the process needs to take for you to actually have a full appreciation of the experience of manifesting a life and a reality as your true preferred self.
So peeling the layers.
Peeling the layers away until it takes as little time as it really needs to. But whatever time is left, that's the time it needs to take, because you did choose to experience a physical reality. And therefore, sometimes you actually do prefer to go through certain processes that take a little time in order to develop a deeper understanding and a deeper appreciation of the process of the creation of that experience. Because that goes into informing you about how you're creating reality.
Yes.
So you can't necessarily completely do away with it, because you are agreeing to have a physical experience, which is an experience, no matter how flexible and malleable space-time can become, it's still an experience defined by the idea in some way, shape, or form of experiencing space and time.
Why we're here to begin with, to your point.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
Good day. So you've been asked this question before, and you said that you couldn't give more information at the time.
Yes.
And I think someone asked later, you gave some more information and then kind of stopped. So I'm wondering if you can give more information now.
Well, you'll have to ask the question.
So what was the purpose of the Jews being led out of Egypt? From what you said last time, is they were guided out by an alien something?
A craft, yes.
A craft. And is that purpose still relevant today?
It's a little bit different today, but it was the beginning of saving the templates for the hybridization agenda of that particular culture that was required. Not that they're the only ones, but it was foreseen along the time track they were taking that the particular culture required for the evolution into the sixth hybrid race would have been extinguished had that particular group not been taken out of harm's way.
So it was their DNA, basically.
The DNA and the energy patterns that they were adopting and expressing to a certain point. Certain energy templates are used for the creations of the hybrids, along with the idea of DNA mixing.
So I guess now the Jews being identified as Jews and like a culture and religion, is that still relevant today?
Not completely, no. The idea is that they still do exhibit certain things that are unique, although, again, many other cultures do as well that are also part of the hybridization agenda. But it's becoming less and less relevant because the idea of the intermixing is what's going to create the idea of dropping all of those labels and all of those borders and actually having a sixth hybrid race.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not so much in the idea of homogenizing the human race, but creating a new template from which different kinds of diversity can be experienced and validated and expressed.
And can you comment on the Torah at all? Like, who wrote it and did it come from God?
Well, certain aspects of it were simply downloaded from all that is, in the sense that anyone can tap in and download information from existence, from all that is. So it is relevant for the time in the way it was expressed, but over time there's also been many misunderstandings and misinterpretations of what the original information actually meant. And this is true throughout the idea of many of your religious expressions on your planet, where there's a lot of misunderstanding of what the original message actually was. For example, you have this idea, as we have expressed before, called the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually not really that way. The original idea that was written down in a misunderstood way as the first commandment usually is phrased in the following way on your planet. I am the Lord your God, thou shalt not have false gods before me. The original message was, I am all that is, there can be nothing that is false, for everything is me. See the difference?
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a false God, because any representation is a representation I contain. So it's not, thou shalt not have false gods. It's not possible to have false gods because everything is made of all that is. See the difference?
Yeah.
All right.
So can you comment on like the laws of Kosher and the Sabbath day, the seventh day?
Well, again, the ideas had to do in ancient times with health issues because certain things might not necessarily have been physically healthy for you in the way that foods were ingested and prepared and so on and so forth. So the idea of the maintenance of a certain health code, a certain food code, did prevent certain diseases from spreading at the time. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
But again, because of the mentality of the time, it seemed like it had to come from on high. And of course, sometimes these directives did come from the extraterrestrial sources, which again were misinterpreted as the idea of coming from God. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. And the idea, again, is that certain things now don't really have to necessarily be perpetuated in order for someone to be walking the exact spiritual path that is right for them. So again, the idea of maintaining a particular religious idea of that expression is really up to the individual, but it's not really necessary for most individuals at this time. If they understand what path they really are, then they will attract exactly what they need. And it may or may not coincide with what the religion that they may have been raised in says they ought to do. But if it's right for them, it's right for them.
So I guess the laws of the Sabbath day came from like the aliens, or
Well, it's simply the recognition that it's important for you to rest. And it's important for you to acknowledge your connection to spirit and all that is. And therefore, time was set aside for that to create a kind of a natural cycle of expression and then reception and meditation and connection. Yes?
yeah.
But it has become, as you would say, codified into this idea of keep holy the Sabbath. It basically just means don't forget your connections. Yes?
Yeah,
All right.
thank you. And is there like an energy vortex in Israel or many, or is there one on the Temple Mount or something?
Yes, there is a very strong one on the Temple Mount.
And is
That's
that,
why it is the idea of a vortex of the major religions that exist in that area. It's why the crossover is there. It's why everyone's attracted to it, that expresses some degree of connection or familiarity to the energy of the area.
and are there any other vortexes in
Of course.
Israel?
Of course. But we're not going to line them all up for you at this particular moment.
Okay.
It is all right for you to understand that Jerusalem is an extremely strong one. Yes?
Yeah.
All right.
I guess that's all I have.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have a question about light language, the galactic light language.
The galactic
Light language.
light language.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, it's just vibration, similar to the idea of the vibration sent to you from your higher mind.
Okay, so if I were to talk to you in it, would you be able to
No.
understand?
No, you don't understand how this works. You understand I'm not speaking your language at all?
Okay.
This is a translation into the language of my thoughts that the channel has been programmed with as a language. The channel is functioning as a translation device. I'm not speaking any language. Therefore, for you to speak a foreign language that doesn't translate through the channel's mind will not translate to me.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's good to know.
Yes, it is.
Do you know of the Gaddafi beings? They called themselves that. And Sebin, and also the golden ones. They came in a dream.
There may be many interpretations of those ideas. Generally speaking, they represent different kinds of groups that you may have your own connections to, and often represent different kinds of councils that can guide and allow one to understand, again, more clearly the vibrational energy that you are related to, connected to, so that you may come from that vibration in your life, so it works for you in your life.
Okay. I do drawings on my tablet of these beings, and I was just wondering if you happen to know who some of them are.
Well, if you haven't given a visual representation that then can be input into the channel's mind before asking the question, then we have no real access to the images. Again, like language, it's got to be something that's in the channel's mind for the translation device to function in two directions.
Okay.
If you wish to show the images at some point to the channel, then it will be there and accessible to us in a future conversation that might be had.
All right. What is my current frequency?
At this particular moment, about 892,000 cycles per second.
Okay.
Does that vibrational number in any way, shape, or form help you?
I was just curious.
I see.
This is a question from my sister, Chelsea. I was just wondering if she happened to be a hybrid mother.
Yes.
Yes. Why does she have so much fear?
Because when these things start happening, usually in childhood, because the children are not taught to understand what is going on and don't have the tools to deal with it, they feel like they are out of control. And therefore, the body reacts with a survival mode mechanism. It goes into survival mode, thinking that it's actually, in a sense, dying because it's being shifted to a different reality that it has no control over.
I see.
Therefore, that can be something that may still exist within the psyche until the psyche understands how to deal with it by asking for more conscious awareness of their participation in those interactions so that they know it's something that they volunteered to do and that they have complete control over it, even though as a child they may not have believed so.
Am I connected to any of that?
To some degree, yes, but a little differently.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not going to explain how.
Okay. There's some things that I've noticed that I can't really ask, and it seems to kind of be hidden.
Well, yes, there are timings to things. There are things we're not allowed to say.
All right.
And therefore, there are things that you yourself know you don't need to know right now because it would interfere or intervene with the timing of these things as they need to unfold according to your own chosen themes.
Okay.
That's why we impose blocks upon ourselves when we communicate with all of you, so that if there is some information that would actually intervene in your process, we simply won't know it.
Okay. So I have a question, but I don't know if I can ask it.
All right, we'll do your best.
Well, I mean, like, is it okay for me to say it?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
All right. Who are the 13?
The 13 are, in different ages, different individuals that have been handed down information and are the keepers of the crystal skull energies that contain information of your entire history on the planet. They are a type of council that are connected to the stars and connected to Earth in a particular way. You may call them shamanistic individuals, if you wish, and are usually members of indigenous cultures on your planet, though not always.
Okay. I was told I was one of them, or connected to that in some way.
No, you are not one of
Okay,
them. You
all
would
right.
know it if you were.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have
I wasn't
to ask.
sure.
You may be connected to the vibrational energy
Yeah.
that they represent, but you are not literally physically one of them.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes?
I guess that's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Bashar. Eshbidan.